That is, get in the frame.
Hello.
This is Hunter McElrea.
I'm squinting.
He wants to be an IndyCar driver. He's been trying to be an IndyCar driver because he's been doing Indy Lights slash, I call it
Next.
NXT. No,
That's wrestling name.
it's NXT. Exactly.
There's a handbook on that.
When you steal the name, you got to call it by what you steal. It's NXT. It's not next. Come on. Anyways, Hunter McElrea, P2 in the Indy NXT Championship. You had a rough Portland that made winning the title a bit of a distant possibility, but we're going to talk about today testing IndyCar. What did we have? 5 hours or so of testing here.
Long time.
Will Power, fastest. This guy was on pole here last year. Set a record.
He goes okay in qualifying.
Well, I don't believe he's been in a Firestone Fast 6 this year. 2 poles at Iowa, but I think, I think. He told me that. I wasn't sure. He's been hit in the head a lot, so we don't trust everything Will says. But anyways, that's Hunter McElrea, I'm Marshall Pruett. We're going to talk about today testing at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, led by our guy Will Power, and then someone we're expecting, Hunter, to be thereabouts almost everywhere now, Christian Lundgaard. So let's set things up just a little bit. 3 sets of tires for this 5-hour session, 2 brand new, 1 had to be carried over from Portland, so used. These are all primary tires. Nobody had the faster alternate. So that was the run plan. Got going at what, 11 o'clock this morning, I think? Ran till 4 p.m. What we had, and we'll roll in a little bit of B-roll, is we had some drivers go right out, but by and large, you had a lot of the championship contender types do an install lap, make sure everything was good, and then come and sit. So a lot of teams waited till we got into just past lunchtime, early afternoon, kind of replicating the time and temperature, Hunter, where qualifying would happen or the race. Tell folks about that part, because you might have 5 hours at your disposal, but there's some pockets in there that maybe the education from learning the track would mean the most transferring into the actual practice and qualifying side.
It's tough. You try and make it obviously as familiar as possible. If I was obviously an engineer, look at that. Nice exhaust.
Yes. That was him, actually.
That was me, actually. I'm trying to pretend it was. Why'd you out me like that?
Sorry.
Anyway, I think for sure you always try and make it as close as possible to the real thing.
Here we
go.
He's super tall.
Yeah.
He's like 7'4".
7'5", actually.
Yeah. All right, sorry.
But yeah, I think it's tough because this new surface, right? Very shiny, very nice. They're already about 4 seconds quicker at least.
Yes.
But I think there's going to be a lot of, evolution throughout the weekend. So for sure, it helps, but I don't think necessarily it might. Maybe it's the exact quality car. I don't know. I'm not an engineer. It'd be very scary if I was. But I think for sure, from my experience anyway, in the next series, we have to chase the track a lot.
Yeah.
Especially, we do morning, afternoon. Some tracks doesn't really affect. Some tracks like Mid-Ohio, it affects like crazy. But no one knows on the surface how that's going to affect in the morning versus afternoon. So, and
that was the big thing folks are going out to learn today. Brand new track surface. So the setups from last year in IndyCar, there's good base value in that information, but really teams are needing to go out and find out what is this brand new super grippy track surface? What's different about it? How do we need to modify our setups to work best with it? And 2 things really stood out, Hunter. We had a heck of a bunch of reds.
Yeah.
Not really yellows, more like, I think the first one was Tom Blanc was spinning out of turn 11, stalled the car, and then the party started.
Yeah,
and it was nonstop. We even had our brand new 4 or 5 day old champion, Alex Palou, crash properly. Went in and turn 4, left side of the car got chewed up a little bit, bent the left rear suspension, broke the left rear wing end plate. So
actually substantial. I didn't know what happened. I saw him in the pits earlier. I thought he was just sitting there. I assume Palou, who can't really do anything wrong, it seems like. I didn't think he'd actually crash, but fair enough.
Getting it out of the way early, lulling everyone, even though he doesn't need to win, lulling folks in that false sense of security. But there's a lot of incidents. I spoke with Pato Ward, and I want to get your thoughts on this too. Boy, amazing new grip, but very much, if not identical, Hunter, to what we experienced in June at Road America.
Yeah.
New track surface, amazing, speeds are flying, and you've got to be on the racing line within an inch or so perfection, or
it's funny
else.
You say that.
Oh, tell folks about that.
It's funny you say that because for me, like at Road America was the same thing. We were going way quicker, but offline it's super slippery. Typically the new tracks is like that. There's actually a resin on top, which takes a while to sit in, and obviously when you drive the racing line over and over and over and over, it kind of grips one place up. So that's going to be interesting to see. It came pretty decent. By the time the race came around, it wasn't really a thing too much. But like I was watching today around everywhere, I walked around the whole track, and you'd see guys like at turn 2, for instance, that miss their placement by like half a car and the lap was destroyed. Like they would understeer at the end of the track.
Wow.
So that was interesting to me. I was like, oh, it seems very green still, obviously, but even with how fast they're going, it's still tending to catch a few guys out, as you saw with the yellows.
Pato Ward told me he thinks turn 4 by the end of tomorrow could be flat. Turn 9, that crazy downhill dive from the corkscrew, he thinks that could be flat. So the raw speed taking place here is phenomenal, Hunter. But that's one of the things you observe too, the physicality.
Yeah.
Right? This wasn't 5 hours of nonstop
We have
running.
2 races too this weekend.
I know.
So I might have to eat a couple extra potatoes.
But tell me about that side, because clearly with the extra grip comes extra force needed to put in the steering. I mean, your body is just getting worked. This is going to push you and the IndyCar drivers hard.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of guys that look very fresh. Naturally, when you go quicker, it's all great, right? And everyone loves going faster with more grip, but the problem with that is that the effort required is more. So the race is going to be hard. We have 2 35-lap races, so that's going to be probably the biggest test physically we have this year. Barb is really physical, but we have 1 race. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. The fit guys probably going to get a little advantage. The skinny blokes like me who have to work really hard, you know, to put muscle on. I don't want to break the camera.
Look at the pythons.
You know,
there.
the pythons. Yeah.
Holy cow. Look like my ankles, but that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So I think at the end of the year, at least everyone's race fit. But again, it's not going to be easy.
All right, let's close on this. So we come back tomorrow and Friday. Hey, we get rolling, and we're going to have the one big IndyCar practice session towards the end of the day. You guys are going to be busy in NXT. We've got the Radicals are here. We got little sports prototypes, which are amazing.
Is it GT Cups?
There's Porsche, the Porsche Cup here too. So there is some fun. There's some stuff to follow for sure.
Yeah.
We're going to have at least 1 driver announcement. That's going to be fun. I'm going to go film a little advanced thing with that driver who shall not be named. But we're getting more things kind of figured out. Tell folks, I did a little story, I interviewed the silly guy earlier, but for those who don't know, and I'm going to step away from the camera and let you close this episode here.
Wow.
Tell folks what it's like being a young kid, and he has the talent. He deserves to be in IndyCar. He's demonstrated that, winning many races in NXT. But tell folks what it's like not having a guaranteed entry at some IndyCar team. You're having to talk, and he's just coming from sitting with a team principal trying to find your way. Tell folks what it's like being young and talented, but having to work this paddock to create an IndyCar opportunity for yourself. Camera's yours.
Thank you. This is a lot of responsibility here right now. I got to duck down a bit, but for me, I mean, it's kind of like, for guys who don't know racing, it's almost like the NFL draft in a sense, but you instead of like 4 or 5 rounds, there's maybe like 3 seats. This is Lewis Foster here. What's your name again?
Lewis Foster.
Lewis?
Lewis.
I never heard of it.
I thought it was Louis.
But yeah, it's very tough. You know, I think for sure everyone knows the responsibility of racing, or what racing requires is a lot of money. But you know, it doesn't mean you stop. I've been knocking on everyone's door trying to introduce myself and give myself the best opportunity possible, but nothing's guaranteed. So I've been very lucky. I have a great group of people around me. There's a big scary bloke that's told me to come on camera right now. I'm still figuring him out. What's your name again?
I'm scary?
Not really. Okay. I've seen scarier.
All right, fair
but
enough.
no, it's I'm doing all I can do. And I'm excited for this weekend. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. Like Marshall said, I'm going to need some sort of meteor to strike to win the championship, unfortunately, after, I guess, a meteor struck at Portland, turn 1 last weekend. If you haven't seen that, watch the highlights. But yeah, I'm doing my best, and I think hopefully some way or another I'll end up on the grid next year, and can show guys what I can do.
Where can they find you on social media?
They can find me, what's it called, Instagram?
You don't even know. Come
Hunter
on, man.
McElrea. MC, Huntr.
Terrible. It's terrible.
He's going to plug it somewhere.
No, I'm not.
Word art.
I'm going to put the wrong
Word
stuff
art.
on
This
there.
has cost me like 10 grand, this video. So anyway, I'm going to get my invoice here from Marshall for the plug. And yeah, I'll leave you fellows to it. Thank you.